what is the pattern here? Where am I getting stuck? Where is there an opportunity? A leader in this region typically comes with an enormous amount of pressure. How are you responding to the pressure? How are you showing up in the workplace? It's not a one-size-fits-all. You have the option of choice.
Okay, Amanda, tell me a little about yourself and how you came into executive coaching.
Well, thanks for asking. I've been in the UAE for around about 30 years now, and my background in this region has always been in learning and development, and particularly in talent development. When I moved into the world of executive leadership development, I noticed a real pattern that it wasn't just about people having the right skills and the right level of competence. It was also about helping people identify their patterns. So moving into coaching felt like a real natural next step with leaders, because it's about supporting them to think about, what is the pattern here? Where am I getting stuck? Where is there an opportunity? And able to shed some light on that in a supportive and collaborative process.
How would you describe your coaching style, and what does a typical session look like?
I think when someone's working with me, the first thing that they'll always notice is that I'm very friendly. I'm quite warm and I'm quite relaxed. So you'll tend to find that the sessions often feel very, very approachable. And the other thing that people will probably tend to notice when they're working with me is that it's a space where you don't have to have it all figured out. You can really come into the session and just start having a conversation based on any topic. And we just gently see where that goes and flows together in a collaborative process. So what you'll find is there's an opportunity to actually talk, and then you'll start to probably see your own patterns starting to emerge. And then what I help you do through support and through gently challenging you, not too much, is help you to kind of unsurface those and think about what you can do with them. So it just really is about sitting there and just getting really curious and interested about what's happening with you.
What does a senior leader in this region typically come to you with, and what shifts for them through the process?
I always find that a leader in this region typically comes with an enormous amount of pressure, an enormous amount of objectives that they need to achieve, and they typically find themselves quite stuck in what do they need to do? What is the action? What is going to have the most impact? What is the strategy that they need to figure out? But what quickly becomes apparent in the coaching sessions is that coaching's not necessarily about figuring that piece out. They're more than capable of figuring that out themselves and with their team and with their peers. What coaching is really about is thinking about how you're responding to these situations. How are you responding to the pressure? How are you responding to other people who are under pressure? How are you showing up in the workplace to get the best out of the people that you work with? How are you managing your relationships with your stakeholders? How are you managing that relationship with the people that you report into? So it really becomes a shift in not so much the action, but really the here and now. What are people doing in the moment? How are they feeling? How is that reflecting upon other people? And how is that impacting results? So it's not necessarily a change of what they're practically doing professionally, but it's definitely a change in the way they think about situations and the way they want to show up in different situations interpersonally.
Why Biz Group? What makes coaching with us different from working with the coach elsewhere?
I think the number one thing that I really notice when working with Biz Group is that it is very, very much about the commitment to the client. There is a real process around, where do we start and where do we end? It's not just a one-off event. It's about truly embedding learning for the client and supporting sustainable change. And one thing that we do know is that this investment in executive coaching is very much about that, because you can go to a workshop and you can participate in events, but it's really about the follow-through of how you integrate and embed learning. And that's something that Biz Group is extremely committed to. And what I also think is fantastic about Biz Group is that you look at all of the executive coaches here, and everyone is very grounded, seasoned, professional in their own right. And they bring that expertise and that experience into Biz Group. And there's a lot of variety. So you can always choose a coach or work with a facilitator that is meeting your needs. So it's not a one-size-fits-all, but you have the option of choice.